What's up guys, so recently I made a poll on whether or not to make a 200 ms PvP guide or a Bedwars guide on my YouTube and my Discord, which you should join by the way. Lots of people asked for 200 ms guide, no one asked for a Bedwars guide. And you may be wondering, but ilylove, you suck at PvP, you do not deserve to teach this. But no worries, because with 3.5 years of 200 ms experience, it's safe to say that with these 5 tips and tricks that I'm gonna teach you today, you might learn a thing or two, you know. Anyways, with that being said, let's get straight into the first tip. But wait, do you want lower ping? Do you want better hit reg? Do you want cleaner fights? Well, join STOPTHELAG today. The Discord will be in the description. You also may be wondering, what is STOPTHELAG? Well, STOPTHELAG is a, new type of way to improve your hit registration and your lag in PvP. Most of you guys watching this video is probably around 200 ms because this is a 200 ms PvP guide after all. So this would be perfect for you. With a small fee of $2 to $3 per month, this will make your gameplay experience 10 times better and 10 times cleaner. So join the Discord in the description to access this. Anyways, back to our video. So, onto our first tip, hit selecting. Also, I'm sure most of you guys know most of these tips that I'm going to talk about, but for some of the newcomers and the new players, I really hope that this will teach you something, yeah. So if you didn't know what hit selecting is, it's basically when you wait for your opponent to hit you first, and then you hit them back like right after they hit you and to start a combo. Hit selecting isn't really the best way to start a combo, but if you're finding someone that knows how to PvP, it will work pretty well in like very different situations. So as you can see, I'm letting him hit me first, then getting the hit on him, which then allows me to actually kill him. So that actually is a pretty decent way to actually fight someone who's also 200 ms. Alright, so I always let my opponent hit me first, which made me take like little to no KB. And every trade I took like no KB. Okay, what am I even saying right now? So basically, with him hitting me first and then countering him right after he hits me, it allows me to be able to reduce against him. And basically, it allows me to win the fight. Even though we're trading every single hit, I take less knockback than him. So that's basically it for the hit selection part. I know it's a bit short, but like it's one of the most basic ways of PvP. Like literally everyone knows this. And if you don't, it's easy to learn. You just let them hit you first. You know? So the second tip is a bit less well known, but people still know it, and it is also very useful. Alright, so the second tip is another form of hit selecting, but it's more, in my opinion, it's more useful. It's called late hit selecting or delayed hit selecting. I know some people have another name for this, but that's what the name will be in this video. What it is you basically let your opponent hit you once or twice, preferably once, and you don't hit them back for like half a second, and then you hit select them. So basically, you let them hit you and you wait like half a second till you hit select them. Basically, when you let your opponent hit you once, they expect you to hit the back instantly, but if you delay your hit, this can mess up their aim, which will lead into you getting a combo on them and thus killing him. This could be very helpful in fighting people who are like more stacked than you or fighting people who are better than you. Okay, so basically in this clip, I let my opponent hit me once and then I wait half a second and then I hit select him, which causes his aim to mess up and lead me into getting like a 7-hit combo on him. And in this clip, this is something that you literally should not do, bro. You shouldn't keep doing the same thing. You shouldn't keep delay hit selecting, otherwise your opponent will catch on and you will get comboed. Alright, so in this clip, Leboxe first flawless is you, and then to be able to secure that clip, he late his selects and allows him to get the kill. Alright, so this next tip is a bit more complicated, like even I don't even understand that well. So yeah, I trust y'all will understand it better than me. Alright, so the third tip is called mid-trading. It's a bit complicated and even I don't understand that well. Mid-trading is essentially when you're fighting someone, you basically hit select your opponent mid-trade. And I know it's confusing, but I'll show you some sample clips. And the last Steve also explained this, so I'll just put his explanation because it is probably more accurate than mine.
It's known as the mid-trade. The first method of mid-trading is to hit select within a hit sequence. Basically, while you're in the middle of a fight, you can let your opponent start hitting you first within the trade and then hit them with a short hit select. And that will work as a hit select. The second method is to completely end the trade and go for a short hit select while they're still expecting you to be clicking. So basically just baiting out your opponent's first hit. As long as you keep practicing this mechanic, once you've got them down, you will win nearly every fight.
So the last Steve's explanation is basically just explaining how mid-trading works, and if you practice enough, you can probably perfect it. I'll show you some other examples of this to help you further your understanding of mid-trade. So in this next clip, Bridger Potato mid-trades in the sumo fight by hit selecting mid-trade. This allowed him to win the fight easily, which just further proves that what the last Steve said is true, that this could help you win in any situation if you perfected and mastered this technique. Alright, so the fourth tip in this video will be burst clicking. If you didn't know what burst clicking is, it's basically just butterfly clicking, but you butterfly click once. So instead of continuously butterfly clicking, you butterfly click like once and then you stop, and then you butterfly once and then you stop. You know what, I'll just show you a video of me doing it to explain it easier to you. This is useful because it helps reduce easier, which means that it can help you control your KB easier and allows you to start more combos. This also makes it so your CPS is lower and you'll be more likely to not get hit reg and lose the combo. And you know what else makes you likely to not get hit reg? Join Stop the Lag. Join in the description. Anyways, if you're a jitter cooker, I guess this tip isn't really that helpful, but as a jitter cooker you can still jitter like 5 times at once and then stop, and then 5 times then stop. Kind of like butterfly burst clicking, but instead of jitter cooking. And as you can see on the CPS mod, I never actually go over 10 CPS. I just remain like 6 to 8 or 4 or 5 or whatever. It's not really that high. So I guess CPS doesn't really matter after all. Now does it? Alright, so the last and final tip of the video, well, I guess 2 tips. Isn't exactly related to PvP in general, but it's essential to win games and fights. And this tip could be used for all kinds of ping range. For example, like low ping or high ping or mid-range ping, or yeah. The first, I guess, tip in this final tip, what am I saying? What am I even trying to say here? When you're up close with your opponent, for example, like in the generator in Bedwars, or maybe in a box, like in a 1x1 box, you can either normal click or butterfly click or jitter, but you should always block it and hit the opponent at the same time. This is because block hitting actually reduces the damage you take by 50%. This makes it so if your opponent is just hitting you without block hitting, you could easily win the fight and still have half your health. So as you just saw, me and my opponent traded every single hit, and in the end I won the fight because I was block hitting. because I was taking less damage, and even though it's not perfect every time, I still won because I took less damage than my opponent did. For the second tip, we have, to be honest, I don't really know what this is called, but it's basically when you're on a platform and your opponent's like in front of you on a platform. Say you're above like ground, like 10 blocks above ground. You have to be able to predict when they're gonna jump and try to hit you. Like if you don't predict, they can easily just fall as you, like in the ring barrels clip, you know what I'm talking about. And once you realize or see that they're gonna jump towards you, jump towards them at the same time. This is because when they jump towards you and you jump towards them, they will most likely hit you in the air, and with you jumping towards them, when they hit you, they will deal KB, which knocks you back onto the platform you were standing on. And your opponent will either fall to his death or take significant damage, and thus allowing you to kill him. Another thing is you should also hit them mid-air to deal extra damage. So as you just saw, my opponent jumped towards me and I jumped towards them at the same time, and I hit them mid-air and he hits me mid-air. And him hitting me mid-air will knock me back onto my platform, which allows me to hold pressure and not take any fall damage. And I'll also show you an example clip from a real game, just to show you that the clip was staged. It also works in real game situations. Another thing is, this is also a very useful thing to do in like bed fight, for example. Alright, so to wrap this up, I'm just gonna say there are probably people watching this video that knows like every single tip I mentioned. But for the newcomers, I really hope that you learned something, and maybe some of the more experienced players also learned something too. So comment down below if you all learned something, and yeah, that's it with this guide. Let me know if you want more. Peace.